Sal. I play bass in the Bama Lamas. My bass is it's a Gibson Grabber. I believe it's 1974. Bought it in a pawn shop in Detroit, and I think at the time it was about a year or two ago. Well, more than that now, about 5 or so years ago, that I was looking for a bass. I have a Rickenbacker 1976 4001 Rickenbacker, but I didn't really like it for the stage. I just wanted something that was a little bit more, I guess, like a little more of a road-ready bass, something that I could kind of like beat up on a little bit. I always like felt weird about taking my Rickenbacker because it's like my first bass. My cousin sold it to me years ago, and I just always paranoid that something would happen to it.
Somebody gonna spill a beer on it or something.
Exactly, and I'm not that uptight about it, but I just felt like, you know, I'd like to have something else, because, you know, the Rickenbacker has like a higher, kind of more of a high end. I wanted something a little bit more, had a better bottom to it. And I was checking out new basses, just Bassmans and new stuff, and then, I don't know, I found this piece of junk kind of hanging on the wall, and I plugged it in. I know it's like a lower level Gibson, and I just plugged it in, and you know, it's really nice bass tone, this low E really rang out real nice, and I said, that's it. You know, I needed some work, but I'm really happy with it.
How much did it cost?
It was, I think, about 200, 300 or so. I kind of forgot. I know I didn't pay, definitely not over $400 or $500. I think it was under 350 or so.
Now, these are the example of the basses and guitars too. You find that some of the ones that are like you know, they're not the sought after by collectors, but they play real well.
That's right.
They're great for live stuff, and they're great even for recording. But they they have a certain character to them.
Definitely, and like, you know, Gene Simmons used the Grabber, or the Ripper. He used the Ripper, and I wasn't really thinking of that. And I guess the one guy from Green Day used the Grabber, but that didn't really influence me. But I always thought it like looks real ugly, and it just looks. I think it looks cool. Yeah, it's not really a sought after, I think, bass, but compared to like some of the newer things and some of the newer electronics from some of the newer pickups and the newer things, to me it just felt real good, and it sounded good to me, and it just had just a nice feel, and I'm like, that's it. I gotta get this thing.
Now, those are one of the things about them is that the body is kind of thin for a bass, though.
Yeah, it's a weird, because it's like, it's kind of like ovalish. I'm used to kind of weird body styles, because like the Rickenbacker is weird, and it's long, and it's just kind of awkward sometimes, and people say it's like really heavy, but it's not that bad. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of thin, and that didn't really, it really seemed like I still had a nice piece of wood on. It didn't seem like flimsy or something like, oh, this thing seems like a toy. It wasn't like that.
That could be a selling point, though, if you're standing up playing all night, too. You know,
yeah, that, you know, I don't know. I mean, I usually do one set, you know, do 50 minutes or an hour, so it's never like really a bother. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not a concern. I'm not a type of guy that does 4 sets or, you know, plays like 4 hours, so it's fine.